So the Mature project actually helps companies to improve their services and products by improving their knowledge development process. It is based on the assumption that the individual actually contributes to that knowledge maturing process from early on vague ideas up to the standardization of knowledge. And we help them by getting a new perspective on that knowledge development process and actually see how it works and where it doesn't work. Knowledge maturing actually is a new perspective on knowledge development that structures the different phases of knowledge development from early on emergence of ideas up to the standardization phase. It shows you that individual learning processes are interconnected and that there is a chain of knowledge developing from one idea up to a discussion in groups and the organizational implementation. We show with the knowledge maturing concept that there are barriers in between that you need to address, which can hinder knowledge maturation phases. So when we had a look at how organizations actually address the problem of supporting learning in their own environment, we saw that many initiatives have actually failed to live up to their expectations. There have been many learning management systems and knowledge management systems which didn't turn out to work in the end. And when we had a closer look, it was because of their top-down approach which didn't get the engagement of the individual. On the other side, we could observe a really large success of individual-driven approaches in the Web 2.0 environment and enterprise social media. And the starting point was actually, why not combine the two? Combine the motivating effects of social media with the target-driven approach of these enterprise systems and rethink in the end how enterprise systems work to support learning. So as I said before, the starting point was the observation of the success of Web 2.0 and the failure of these organizational driven systems. And we found out that there is a gap in understanding how individuals can contribute to organizational knowledge development, and that you also need a new perspective on that that puts the individual into the center but doesn't forget about the organization. And we understood that we need to do, on the one side, empirical research, and on the other side also to design prototypes in order to better understand what would be better approaches to these problems that organizational systems tend to address. The issue in today's workplaces is that they are not understood as workplaces of learning. So typically work and learning seems to be separate. But we need to understand that, especially in a complex environment, working always means learning, and we need to shape the workplaces with tool support but also organizational measures so that they can become really learning places where you integrate learning into the everyday work practices, so to be able to improve your own practice, to come up with new ideas, to innovate services and products. And if we manage to do that, then also we are sure that the motivation of the individual, that the empowered individual can actually maximize their potential in the organization. So we approach the problem on multiple levels. On the one side, we found it very important to develop a sound conceptual basis for knowledge maturing and for the understanding of knowledge maturing. And therefore we conducted empirical research involving many different individuals from throughout Europe in various studies. And what we also did was then, on a design level, we conceptualized new ways of implementing enterprise systems, especially in areas of document management, but also in the area of competence management. And we piloted those together with application partners to gain practical experience, how it works, where their barriers exist, in order to then be able to develop products and services that are able to improve knowledge maturing practices in organizations. I think one of the highlights of the project lies really in the strong empirical base on the one side, where we have been able to interview many key stakeholders in Europe in order to get their feedback on our concept. But on the other side, at the same time, we've been also able to involve them actively in our design process, to get feedback on our ideas, and especially also to get application partners actually to pilot those applications. And they were actually enthusiastic about using our software and tools as part of their everyday work practice. Well, we have actually achieved quite a lot on the conceptual side for understanding knowledge maturing. We have developed indicators for measuring knowledge maturing. We have developed a system of activities for understanding what actually contributes to knowledge maturing. But we also know that there is still a lot to be done on the research perspective, because the concept actually is far more complex than you would initially expect. And one particular area where we want to conduct further research is to apply this concept not only to an organization, but also to a networked world of organizations as you encounter it in an SME context. And there it is especially important to support these organizations mutually in developing learning material, in developing supporting activities, so that they are not on their own in the knowledge development, but they can rely on others actually helping them to get forward, although they might be in a competitive situation. So we are currently working on putting the research results into respective journals to disseminate that to the scientific community. But we are also working on putting into practice what we have found out. And for example, our tools are mostly released as open source, and we are developing an offering at the moment to companies that want to make use of that, so we are able to provide customization and tailoring to the individual context. But we can also offer a cloud-based hosting for those companies. And in the end, we also developed a consulting network across Europe with partners from the consortium, but also we've been able to involve experienced consultants from the outside to provide our knowledge about knowledge maturing processes to companies, to enable them to better understand their problems, but also to develop solutions that are tailored to their own environment. And we can share here experiences we have made in a variety of different contexts. So we have developed a wealth of material and different case studies and everything. And please take the time and have a look at the website on knowledge-maturing.com to have a look at what we found out and whether that matches actually your problem area and whether we can get in contact on that. We would be looking forward to that.